Hi, I'm bringing you this video to show you easy ways to get started with being a location-independent therapist. My name is Amy. I'm a location-independent therapist traveling the world helping people. So, let's just get started. What is a location-independent therapist? It's just like it sounds. It is someone who doesn't have like a permanent home. For the most part, they're traveling the world or they're traveling the States. And this video is specifically for people who are traveling from the States, because I talk about licensing and regulations, and that wouldn't have to do with any other country because I wouldn't know. So, the first step that I have is self-evaluation. Evaluate yourself to see if you're ready to start traveling. Evaluate the way you feel when you're away from home. Do you get homesick? Will you be leaving and moving 2,000 miles away? Will you be moving 300 miles away? Will you travel the US or international? So just evaluate where you are emotionally and what you're ready to take on. Are you equipped emotionally? That takes me into that. I'm looking at my notes. So, do you have what it takes? Are you able to be alone without being lonely? Are you equipped for that? Are you going to take your family with you? Are they equipped for that? Do you have a husband or a wife that you will be traveling with? Just to make sure that everybody who is leaving is emotionally equipped to travel and give up their home. Most people who are location independent, they don't have a location, like a home base. Maybe their moms, or maybe, a friend or something, somewhere to go back to. But most people who are location independent don't own a house and then decide to travel the world. It usually doesn't work like that, but if you do, that's okay. You can be flexible and make it your own. What's holding you back? So if this is something that you wanted to do, evaluate what's holding you back. Is it fear? Is it finances? Is it lack of education? Whatever's holding you back, address it to see what's holding you back, and maybe you can address that and move forward. That would be good. The second thing would be licensure. I would suggest that you check with your state boards. That would be the first thing. Before you leave, to see what state you can practice in. Some states you can't leave their state to go practice. So that would be a big thing, is to make sure that you can practice outside of your state. And then maybe the next thing would be international, if that's what you want to do. So those are things. Just check your regulations and make sure you're staying within your regulations, and knowing that if you don't, you can lose your license. So just make sure and try to get licensed in multiple states. It's so good, because if one state that has like some strict rules, there'll be another state that doesn't, so you'll be able to practice without depending on one state. The business stuff, if you're not on CAQH, make sure that you get on that registered and get all your credentials in. That's a good one if you accept insurance. If you're only doing self-pay, you don't even need to do that, but self-pay is usually a little more of an uphill battle when you're just trying to do all self-pay at first. If you already have, clients and you're full with self-pay, great. It makes it even easier to move. So that is one. If you're gonna be a sole proprietor, an LLC, S Corp, figure that out while you're in your state to get registered before you start traveling, especially if you're traveling internationally. So make sure that you understand what you are, get that fictitious name. I'm telling you, I'm gonna talk today. The fictitious name, and make sure you register that. Do all your business stuff. If you're getting a lawyer, an accountant, whatever you need, which you will need an accountant. A lawyer, that's always good, of course. Make sure you have your liability insurance in place. Make sure they allow for travel. Very important also. Make sure that your liability insurance allows you to travel internationally. So check with them, check with your state for regulations. Let's see what else I have. Oh, if you're gonna be a nonprofit, do all that stuff, knock yourself out, get your website. Number 4 would be marketing. If you do not have a private practice or you're in a group practice and would like to travel as a private practice clinician, I would suggest that you would start marketing on social media. I get a lot of clients who go and look at social media for me, and then they make their choice by my social media. I wouldn't suggest that for clients, but they do. That's how the world is working now. Social media. Having a website, like a social media site, and maybe a link in there to go to your website. Websites are so important. You can do so much with websites. You can schedule from the website, which I do like 90%, probably 95%, self-scheduling, so that people, they have the choice. It's easier for us, especially if you're traveling. They just go ahead and you can, I know in Simple Practice that I use, that you can go ahead and either decline it or accept it. So that's really good. So self-scheduling in your website is perfect. Also, for marketing, Psychology Today, everybody knows about that. Therapy Den is low cost or no cost. That's a good one. There are directories specific to culture or race. I know, and another low cost one before I get into that is Open Path. That's a good one. Therapy for Black Girls, good. Clinicians of Color, I can't talk today. That's a good one. My Therapist is Black. Those are all good websites for people who are looking for specifics, people who can relate to them. So if you're a clinician of color, those are great websites. The other ones that I said, great directories, to register with for clients that you want to work with, your ideal client. And they want to work with people who can identify with them. So those are all good. Some are for everybody. The other ones are a little more specific, which is good. The starters and fillers are so great. I used and use EAP companies' benefits to fill in for my private practice. So getting established with them before you start traveling, if that's something you need. Headway, I have used them. They accept certain insurances and they take all the headache of, it's not always a headache, but it's a headache, of billing away from you. So that's a good one. Alma, I do not use them and I never have, but I have heard good things. So check that out. Whichever one works for you, go ahead and do it. I think Alma charges like $100 a month or more, and Headway doesn't. They do the billing and you get paid every 2 weeks from them. And definitely start while you're in the States. I cannot say that enough. Do not try to do this internationally. Number 6 would be a mobile office setup. Setting up your mobile office is important. It's important to have a virtual address prior to leaving the States. If you have a virtual office or a mail source where you can have your documents sent to your email virtually, that would be great. Make sure that you have a bank account before you leave the States, and that address where your bank documents can be sent, or have them paperless so that you don't have to worry about it. But I think they do verify your address, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure that you have software. If you're not in a group practice, make sure that you consider your software. Is it good? Is it easy for you? As long as it's good for you and easy, that's good. I use Simple Practice. It's easy for me. I like it. You can self-schedule. Great. A VPN. I suggest a VPN router. I use a VPN every time that I'm traveling to everywhere that I'm traveling. So if I'm in the States, I use a VPN. If I'm out of the country, I use a VPN. The routers do help with speed. Then, let's see what else I have here. Do you have enough money? Do you have enough money for you to live comfortably? Where do you want to go? If it's an expensive place, you will need a larger budget just to make sure that if you're just getting started, if you're established and you're good. But if you're just getting started, really look at your budget, where you're going to stay. You can't stay at hostels and, conduct therapy. You can't go to the coffee shop. There is HIPAA no matter what. So make sure that you have a budget to stay in a place where you're private and not a lot of noise. And that can be difficult in some countries. I'm in Mexico right now. Very affordable. Some places it's loud. Where I am, it's not loud, so I don't really have to worry about that one. Make sure you have a ring light so that if anything happens, you have the ring light. A battery pack if you need it. An iPad if you need it for backup. Download the app for your software. Like I have Simple Practice downloaded in my phone just in case all else would go. Let me think. Oh, and the last one is figure out where you want to go. What the weather is like. Where I am now, it is extremely hot. If you don't like heat, that would be like not a good place. If you want to be by the beach, think about the Wi-Fi near the beach, and consult with other people who are travelers, nomads, whatever. Work, people who work from anywhere, location independent, to see where the best places are. I am going to make a video of where the best places are to travel on a budget with good Wi-Fi as a location independent therapist. I also, I think I'm going to make a video about being a travel social worker also. I was a travel LCSW prior to becoming location independent for a few years. So I was location independent then because I just traveled around and I worked for 13 weeks or 26 weeks and then moved on. So I'll talk about that in some upcoming videos. Leave any comments or questions you have or suggestions that I left out for being a location independent therapist. Look down in the description for a guide to help you. It will help you so much more than this video. I can't say that enough. It is comprehensive. It's good. Not saying this video sucks, but it's good. All right, and like and subscribe. I will have more content. I'm trying to upload every week content on being location independent, documenting my travels to different countries and what I'm running into. The good, the bad. I haven't ran into much bad, and I'm not just saying that, but a couple things adjusting. But the good, bad, and the ugly in different places in different parts. I will travel throughout Central America and then to Europe. So I have a lot of things happening that are great and coming through. If you have any questions, please leave them behind. Subscribe, like, whatever you want to do. Thank you.